This is the Aftermarket Radio Network. Hey, what's up? I'm back at the Transformers 2022 in Cancun. And I don't know about you, Jennifer or Joe, but this has really been a lot of hard work here in Cancun.
Yeah, it's really tough, sitting by the pool and enjoying the buffets.
Yeah, but I'm working. I'm slaving in the studio doing interviews. I'm jealous. Oh, I get it. Your spouse is here doing all the work.
Yes.
So that's.
I don't know. I think they're having fun. I'm here with my son.
Oh,
a 3-year-old.
Oh, whoa! I get it. It makes sense. This is an episode, everyone, about spouses. I've been wanting to do a spouse interview for so long. We've been really working on some logistics under the covers. Scheduling has been our biggest thing. So coming here to Cancun, knowing that there was all kinds of spouses hanging out, I just put my flag up, and all of a sudden, we have 2 spouses. Listen, when I worked in corporate America and owned my own business for years and years, if it wasn't for Ann raising the kids, doing all the stuff that was necessary to run a great family while I was out, whatever I was beaten each and every day, her support was what made me enjoy what I did and, I believe, successful. Hey, plan to be at Apex 2023, October 31st through November 2nd. Apex will build upon the incredible success of Joe's Garage, a full 10-bay working environment. If you earn your living in the auto service aftermarket, then Apex is for you. Hey, let's face it, your shop management system is the most critical tool in your shop, and Napa Tracks will move your shop into the SMS fast lane with on-site training, 6 days a week support, and local representation. Find Napa Tracks on the web at napatracs.com. With me is Jennifer McHugh, and her husband, you probably know Patrick McHugh from Bimmer Rescue in Richmond, Virginia. Good to have you here, Jennifer.
Thank you.
And so you're watching the 3-year-old. Well, it's cool that you brought the family, the 3-year-old, yeah. I remember doing an episode with Patrick when your, I think, daughter was first born. My daughter, right?
Yes, we have 2 girls, and then Lawton is the caboose.
Lawton's the caboose, and he's the 3-year-old, right?
Yeah.
And he had a picture, and I remember him talking about the fact that it was the picture of him that pushed him to make some changes in his life and in the business. It was a great discussion point. Also with us is Joe Bennecoff. Your wife, Nichole, did an episode with us while we were here, and it was really good. And her business is Subie Guys, Subarus, and Joe has his own business. He's in the drywall business. Jennifer, are you a stay-at-home mom?
I am not. No, I'm a CPA. I work for a Fortune 500 company in Richmond.
Whoa. Okay. So this is great. So you guys are both in the business side on your own respects. What I want to know from both of you, and I'm sure our audience really wants to know, how much do you believe you contribute to the success of your husband and your wife? Let me ask you first, Jennifer.
I'd say a pretty decent. I mean, we have 3 kids, right? So it's Patrick's like, hey, I have to stay late. So it's me, running out early from work and having to go home, pick up the kids, make dinner, do that stuff. But then there's also times where he needs to vent or he needs to discuss. And there's sometimes when I'm the sounding board and there's sometimes when I'm the advice giver.
Yeah.
Sometimes the advice is taken, sometimes it's not. But it's just, I think, helpful to have someone outside of the business who doesn't see the day-to-day to bounce ideas off of. So.
She said something so interesting, Joe. She said, Patrick called and said, I have to stay late. And I don't know how many times I've ever done that. And I never considered another late night, another you won't be home, another I have to put the dinner in there, another you're not going to spend any time with the kids. What goes through your mind when he calls and says, I got to stay late?
Patrick would say that I mentally note it and I keep track of it for 2, well, you did it last week, so now it's my turn. But it's pretty good give and take. I mean, there are some nights, CPA, I have long hours too, but we work it out and it's a compromise. And he leaves early to pick up the kids when I'm busy and vice versa. So we're a pretty good team.
How about you, Joe? Nichole ever call and say, hey, I got to stay late?
Oh, absolutely. Many times. And just like Jennifer mentioned, being a business owner as well, there are nights I have to do the same thing. So it's like any relationship. You have compromise and you just pick up the pieces for each other every day,
Do you guys know enough about what your spouses do?
Absolutely not.
Really?
Well, I mean,
You understand the business, I'm sure of that
Yeah.
part, but you don't understand the
I don't know.
tab A into slot B, the mechanics of,
No, I
of
don't
how
know
it works.
a guibo from a bumper. And the only reason I know those two words is because we had cats named Bumper and Guibo.
I didn't know we had guibos in the industry. I'm going to have to Google guibo.
Oh, I hope it was a car part. I tell people it was a car part when they're like, what is your cat's name again? So
Somebody email me if guibos are car part name.
joke's on me.
How about you, Joe? Understand what it is that Nichole does?
I feel like I do. And the only reason is because she talks about it constantly.
Oh, good. So you're the sounding board. I mean, you both are sounding boards. You had mentioned that. But what are you a sounding board for?
Almost everything and anything. It's a lot of times it's a staffing issue or a staffing thought. Like what direction do I go? And not that Patrick isn't. I've met Patrick. He's very passionate. But Nichole is too, and she's so passionate. She comes home and shares with me everything she's learning at, for example, these events, new things that she's learning from coaching, or just things that are going on every day at the shop. So I feel like I've learned a lot about it. What's profit and loss sheet, things like that and obviously.
Yeah, you love drywall, so you went into the drywall business and never had a clue what the financial side of the business was. And so you're learning it from her.
Yeah. Learning a lot of things about just a corporation.
Whenever I would just go to Ann, and she'd be very interested she's probably seen me stress for a few days on stuff. And then when I would finally open up, I would be so relieved, because sometimes when I talk out my problems, even though Ann wasn't in business and she was a stay-at-home mom, she allowed me to talk it out. And usually I discovered a solution. Everybody's shaking their heads at me.
It's like therapy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, the solution came to me because I discussed it. And I don't mean to take on this conversation, but it happened to me years ago with my dad. And I said, do me a favor, sit, listen to me. Don't comment in 30 seconds because I have a 5-minute thing I want to talk to you about, because Dad was always wanting to be, the hero and give me his answer, even though I wasn't looking for his answer. And I was about 2 minutes into this issue that I had that I didn't have a solution for. And it just it was a lightning bolt that came from the heavens, and bam. And I looked at him and I said, thanks for listening. I gotta go. And he said, wait, I haven't told you what I thought. I said, I figured it out. Does that happen with your spouses?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Does Patrick just go to you and say, thanks for listening, I figured it out? I mean, can you see that it worked, that it was good therapy?
I think so, because I feel like he'd probably tell you this the same most of the time, actually. I'm pretty distracted with, my own stuff, and then there's 3 kids running around, and I'm just like, You're not really listening? Sometimes. I mean, I'm pretty bad about that sometimes. Okay. But a lot of the time, to your point, he just needs to talk it out. And he's like, okay, thanks for listening. I'm like, sure.
No problem. Yeah, I got it all. Problem. I can repeat it back to you in a second. Here.
Oh, yeah, don't ask.
Here's what's funny, Joe. I saw Patrick in the hallway. Of course, Nichole came down here with you, and she said, should I stay in here? Patrick earlier said, should I come in with you? And Tracy, I have to tell you right now, I think my first impression was no, let him be here alone so that they really open up. But can you imagine if they were both here? What a hoot that would be.
Yeah. Part 2.
So how about you? Are you a good listener, Joe?
Sometimes guilty of, like Jennifer said, I'm checked out, but I mean, there are many nights where she's deep into a particular thing going on at the shop. And it's usually, the thing about it is it's not I haven't heard it for the first time. It's usually like the 4th time, right, Jennifer? That she's bringing it up. And I'm like, okay, why are we still talking about this? Fix it.
Cool. But you know what, Joe? She probably needed to hear that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
She needed to hear you say, go fix it.
Yeah.
Because, listen, sometimes it's pretty lonely at the top.
Right. Absolutely.
One of the reasons that we have coaches, 20 groups, networking groups, accountability partners that we pay to have is that they can give you the occasional kick in the butt because you're procrastinating on things. And it's brilliant that you guys just said that. How many times do I have to listen to this? Aren't you going to fix it thing? And so if the spouse wasn't there, willing player, listener, the coach should help solve some of that problem. Or you could say, I thought you had a coach to solve this problem. What are you doing? You're not listening to the coach?
I've said that before too.
Oh, I see.
Like, aren't you talking to your coaches about this?
Yes, I am. So why are you bothering me?
But no, and the thing that I know myself, I have to be cautious. There are moments where I need to just listen and hear her out. But then there are other moments, like I said, when I hear her for the 5th time and I'm like, honey, you have to do something about this. And then she's like, I know, you're right. And then she'll go to the shop and hire somebody or fire somebody.
I find the same, like I work for corporate America and I'd be like, Patrick, you've been complaining about this person for 6 months. I was like, if this person worked where I was, they'd be gone 5 months ago. What are you doing?
Correct.
And he's like, well, it's different. I'm like, is it though? I don't know. But I mean, you know, he's got his coach and they're much more in the auto repair business and they know what's going on. And
You know, obviously he's in the thick of things. I mean, trust me, I've been in those shoes before where you just procrastinate. Number one, you're not ready to face it. Number two, that means you have to go and hire somebody. Number three, the team has to pull together and cover that person's weight. You just don't want to keep firing people that you've made bad hires because you're the reason that it's not working. You didn't train them right. You didn't orient them right. You thought you were hiring a unicorn or a superstar, and now they're not, and it waits on you. Ever happened to you?
Yeah. And my wife is a very kind person, and she never wants to hurt anybody.
Yeah.
But sometimes in business, you have to make hard choices.
Tough choices.
Yeah. So, and I'm a little more pragmatic in that way. Yeah. No, definitely have experienced that.
Jennifer, do you have people that work for you?
I do not. No.
Oh, so you're lucky.
Yeah. So I can say these things, but you just got to fire him, and I have no idea.
You have no idea what it really takes to do that.
Yeah. And I mean, you've met Patrick. He's nice to everybody. He makes friends with everybody. So yeah, I can see how that would be a very hard thing.
Yeah, he's tough. He's tough not to like on minute one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly right. Yeah. Great guy. Thank you. And again, I just met Nichole for the first time. Wow. She was a lot of fun. A great episode with her. But Nichole, based on her episode, she's just been fired up for the last 3 years, right? She almost like reinvented herself in the last short term.
She really has. It almost like complete 180. I think the big change was when she started hiring coaches like the Transformers, and she's really taken it to heart and changed her mindset on a lot of things. And you almost have to be successful in business, right?
So here's the big test. You ready for this? Did what she brought home change as she had a different trajectory in the business? Was it as heavy? Was it smarter issues she was running off of you? Or did you find that she's bringing less home because she's got help other places?
Yeah. I think as time has gone on, though, it's gotten so much bigger, the business itself. So there have been more things to think about. But yeah, I do think that she has relied on her coaches a lot more.
Got it.
But on the little details, you could say.
Okay, Nichole, so you want to grow, you want to add all these stores, you have this great vision. You're going to still bury me in an hour every time you come home every night? I don't know if I have the 2 or 3 hours because you want to get bigger.
A lot of what she shares is interesting to me. I'm still invested in it, because it does affect my life in a big way, her success and of course my own success. So I guess at this point, I'm not sick of it yet.
Jennifer, you're proud of what Patrick's doing?
Oh, absolutely. It's incredible. It's funny though. Patrick went to school to be an aeronautical engineer. So he could work on airplanes. And he did that for a while, and he flew airplanes for a while as a pilot. And then fast forward, and he owns an auto repair business. And it started out with, I was the CPA, so I was doing his books and doing the P&L and all that. And then fast forward again, and he comes home and he's talking about P&L and EBITDA and all these things where I'm like, I went to school for this stuff. He learned this stuff on the fly. And I mean, yes, he had coaches to do that, but he learned it all. And it's just really incredible. And it's really cool to listen to him talk about that, knowing where he started and where he is now. And it's just,
You continue to do his books?
oh, no.
Wow. You were pretty adamant about that.
No, there was a point, this is very early on, when he did something with a cash deposit where it literally took me 2 hours to account for it. And I just went to him and I said, I'm done. You need to hire somebody. I got a full-time job already. You can go, you find somebody for this. And that was an amazing decision because
On your part?
both of our parts.
Both. I imagine.
Yeah, I think if I was that much in the business, we probably would have murdered each other by now.
Jeez, I can't believe we're recording this.
Patrick is probably like rolling his eyes right now.
You can't run for president in 10 years.
I guess. Yeah, there goes.
We got the proof
Whoops.
here. Hey, look, if you earn your living in the automotive service aftermarket, Apex is for you. Now, if you attended Apex 2022, then you realize the incredible commitment that Apex has to the service professional shop owner and technician. Joe's Garage is your place to be with 10 working bays as you experience real live working conditions along with exciting demonstrations and the latest equipment presented. Also, the best tech companies from tools and repair to management software had their latest and the greatest on display. You also attended technical business management training with the industry's best and brightest. Work is already underway to make next year's Apex 2023 even better than ever with more product demos, trending training, marketing, and the latest in business management training to help you grow your sales and profits. Remember, if you earn your living in the aftermarket, then Apex is the expo for you. Continue listening as we bring you the latest from Apex 2023. Save the date, October 31st through November 2nd, 2023. Let's face it, your shop management system is the single most important tool in your shop, period. NapaTrax was built from the ground up to make your business more profitable and efficient. We provide an extensive set of tools to increase and track profitability in real time. NapaTrax offers the industry's best post-sale support, hands down, and we train your people on site. Yep, on site. And we offer remote refresher training 10 times a week, and customer support is open 6 days a week. Give us a call, visit the website, or join our Facebook community today to learn more. We'll prove to you that Trax is the single best shop management system in the business. NapaTrax is always customized and tailored for you, whether you're a one-man shop or a large multi-bay or multi-location company. After all, it's your shop, so it's your choice. Visit us on the web at NapaTrax, that's NapaTracs.com. The sounding board that you are for Nichole, Joe, what's some of the biggest issues she brings to you, if you could share a few?
Well, like we were talking earlier, I mean, a lot of it is employee related stuff.
Okay.
You know,
it seems to be that's one of the biggest nebula things. It's big, it's growing, it's shrinking, it's moving in all a different direction. To me, one of the best things that we could do is to become great leaders with good cultures and go for training for to learn how to be a really good leader.
Yes.
And a lot of that stuff goes away, especially when you delegate to people and let them, start making decisions for you, and then they end up owning that stuff.
Yeah. Like evolving into this leadership role. 5 years ago, she was that person that she avoids conflict at all costs. So, and I am so proud of her. She's really stepped out of her comfort zone to become a leader in the business and to be willing to have those difficult conversations you have to have sometime to take that employee to the next level or to make them be better at their job. And man, it's amazing to see how she's developed herself that way and become so much better at it.
You see changes in Patrick?
Yeah. I mean, his confidence, he can you wouldn't know it that he's, something is brand new to him, but he just goes at it. And the way he speaks about it, like he sounds confident. He knows what he's talking about. He tells me all the time, fake it till you make it. And it's for him, like right now he's opening another shop. And this is a first for him, but he's so good at it and just so confident. And I know, I've had a couple times where you're fine. And he's like, I'm not, but he just projects this aura of confidence that it's very easy to just be like, you got it. You're good.
So
you don't need me.
You bring up a great point about confidence. Do you understand that as a spouse with a lot on the line with the business, a lot of investment there, Everything's invested, if you will, in the business on both spouses' side. Do you recognize that your role is to help them with their self-confidence?
I think I've figured that out.
You did.
Yeah, pretty recent, especially with these new shops, and that sometimes he's talking and he's venting and he's frustrated and things aren't going exactly the way he wanted. All I really need to do, and really my role needs to be, is say, "You're doing a really great job. I'm really proud of you," and that's all I need to do. That's all he needed.
Yeah, likewise. And I think that's sometimes just all they need to hear is, "You're incredible. You've gotten this far. You're killing it. Just be sure of yourself. You have this."
I was going to ask both of you at the end, say something that you'd love to say to your spouse, and I think I just heard it.
Hopefully he's heard it from me enough that he knows it's
Right.
true. So
Yeah, I mean,
Try to remind them of that
If
as
not,
much as possible.
now it's recorded. So
Yeah, you're not doing this because you think they need to hear it. You do that because, number one, you believe in it and they need to hear it.
absolutely.
You're not sugarcoating anything. And when your spouse reacts to that, and you could see a change over the next day or the next couple of days, there's almost seems to be a little air let out of the balloon, and you know it worked.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What other role do you play in the success of your spouse's business? Joe?
Like I said, I think all this plays into just your relationship as a couple.
Let's go there. I love that. Yeah.
Because, as complicated and beautiful as relationships are, it's constant work, So now you're adding this layer of being supportive for this, corporation that they're running. And it does add challenges, but it also adds a lot of benefits and, amazing parts of the relationship too. So I think a lot of it is figuring out your role, knowing when to be, like we said, knowing when to be quiet, knowing when to speak up, and kind of giving them their space, but also being just super supportive. And that relates to other parts of your relationship. We can even see it in the media, Tom Brady and Giselle, and how that relationship worked out in his career and her thoughts on it. And then I always think of Jack Nicklaus, the golfer. Mm-hmm. You see interviews and he would always talk about, "Barbara's been so supportive my whole career. She took care of the children while I was winning majors,
Yeah.
So I think every relationship or every couple is unique, and you have to just find your space and role within that relationship.
Well said. Tom Brady was never home.
Right.
And who knows whatever happened there.
Well, right. Like I said, it just shows the difference maybe between those relationships and roles. And I guess I'm not really saying any one of them were right or wrong, but just noting it.
Yeah, I think for me, it's, I have my role as a mom, which is, 99% of the time. And then I have my role as my career and, progressing there. And then as a wife, and then also being the wife of a business owner, and then being the wife of a business owner who's expanding. And then it's, when am I just Jennifer? And that's the part that I struggle with the most. And I think a lot of times I get a little bit, Patrick again rolling his eyes right now, a little bit like, can you just let me have some time for Jennifer?
Jennifer needs her space.
Jennifer needs her
Jennifer
space.
time.
Yes. Which a lot of the times eats into the Jennifer Patrick time. But it's necessary so that when we do have Jennifer Patrick time, it's good time.
Well, that's great. I think you brought up just an incredible point. Is Patrick's time at work? Does he consider that his time?
It's funny because Patrick and I are very different. He is an extreme extrovert. I am an introvert. So Patrick recharges when he's talking to other people and he's with people.
Yeah.
And I'm completely opposite. I recharge by just reading my book or just being alone. So it's when I'm like, I need me time. Patrick's like, okay. And he literally is walking away from me as he's dialing for dollars, finding someone to talk to. So in that regard, it is like a good mix in that, part of our relationship.
How about Joe time?
Jennifer brings up some great points as you were mentioning all that. That's the funny part. I'm probably in some ways an introvert, but most ways an extrovert. But Nichole is vow and declared introvert. So that we have to, get through that minefield of our different personalities. But yeah, there are moments I would say, like Jennifer mentioned, that I'm like, wow, there's just no time left for Joe and Nichole sometimes. But we find those times and we figure out those ways to, put us first in the middle of building successful businesses.
Jennifer, you remind me of Ann and myself. I'm the extrovert. I recharged by being out there on, if you will. And Ann can just go into a room and recharge. And I can't. When you're doing me time, Jennifer, Patrick, Joe, Nichole time, and knowing that both of your spouses are probably, their brain is charged, and it's sometimes very tough to turn off work and the challenges, the dreams, the vision, everything. It's tough to turn it off. It took me a long time to realize that when we're having Ann and Carm time, I had to be there. I had to be present. Do you find that your spouses can be present when it's your time, a couple time?
It's funny you say it that way because Patrick is very good at turning it off. Like he will come home and it is off. And if I have a bad day, I come home and I am grumpy. So Patrick, no matter what's going on, can be the amazing dad, the amazing husband, and you wouldn't know that he had all this stuff just explode at work today. He's very good at coming home and just letting it roll off his shoulder. And then unfortunately I'm like, I need my me time. And then of course, then he needs to deal with it later. So I feel kind of guilty about that. But he's very good when when it's us and our family and our kids, he is 100% present with us.
Proud of you, Patrick.
Yes.
I know you're listening to this. What about you guys?
Yeah, I guess I'm the one in the relationship that can compartmentalize things a little bit more. And I know it's a little challenging. And I think part of it is because Nichole is just so passionate about what she does. She just gets immersed in it. I mean, this girl, some mornings she's up at 2:00 in the morning and jumping on her computer because she can't sleep because she's obsessed with a certain thing that she has to take care of for work or getting an ad out or something. And then she'll do this until 8 or 9 o'clock at night. So, but I mean, I give it to her. She's a go-getter.
And you got kids at home?
We do. We have a 10 and 12-year-old girls.
10 and 12, and you have 3.
Yes, we have 2 girls, 7 and 5, and then Lawton, who's 3.
Wow. You just, I wish you could have seen Jennifer's face. Wow. It's huge for what you both do with the families. And that's what the reason for this episode is to share these great stories. And I think you guys bring up the me time, the introvert, the extrovert, the energized, the listen, the be present thing. Really, that was the goal of trying to do this episode is to share those stories that you've told to us about the dynamic of husband and wife and the spouse that does not work in the business, yet you each have your own careers. And so I'm looking at it from the perspective of Nichole and Patrick. But if it was reversed and I had Nichole and Patrick here talking about you guys, what would Patrick say?
I think Patrick would say, his business has evolved so much where I was very much in the weeds and I knew everything going on. And now, I don't want to say I have the crutch now that he has coaches. He can go talk to them, but I'm not. I don't know everything that's going on. There are several people that work for Patrick that I've never met. I haven't been to his new shop that he's been working on for like the last however many months. And I feel kind of crappy about that. But it's also life and stuff, but he's got people and it's not just me.
When would you have looked in the last 3 weeks that you had time to go and see the shop?
Oh, no. Yeah. I still feel that guilt. Like I know I have.
Yeah, because he's your partner. You watched him grow up in business. He watched you. Let's talk about sharing the cool things that happen in each other's lives, and having your second store is like having a baby.
Right. And I haven't met that baby yet.
Yeah. Well, okay.
So, shame on me, but I'll get there. We'll get there. Yeah. I will figure it out.
Is he upset that you haven't gone and seen it?
I think so.
Okay.
And ashamed of myself
do me a favor,
for that.
Go see it before this airs.
Sounds good.
It'll just make it a lot easier.
Yeah.
How about you, Joe? Is she paying enough attention to your business?
I think so. like sometimes I feel like my business maybe is like the stepchild and doesn't get as much attention because it's like, well, it's just a little drywall business. You're one guy, which I get. You know, her business is, you know, much bigger and plays a bigger role in our life. And like Jennifer said, sometimes I do feel guilty that I'm not over at the shop more and figuring out what I can do to manage the building a little better or something like that.
Yeah, but what about her, you know, knowing what's going on and, you know, seeing a incredible drywall job you did or the latest stilt you bought or something?
She'll take notice to it, but it's like I said, she's just kind of focused on her main thing.
And you let her.
Absolutely.
So it just doesn't matter if she does or doesn't hang out with your side of your world. Or how about this? Do you ever go to her and say, "Oh, I bid this job. I'm not going to make enough money on it." You know, I'm in a little too deep.
Oh, of course. Yeah. No, we definitely have conversations about drama in your business
world.
As well.
Yeah.
And we bounce things off of each other.
Got it.
Quite a bit.
Jennifer, do you ever bring work home as far as any stress levels or issues?
Definitely. I'm not as good as him at turning it off. So I'm stressing about it a lot.
And can he see that in you?
Yes.
It sounds like he is like a saint and he'll almost say, "Honey, what's wrong?"
No, he'll be like, snap out of it. It's after 5. Come on.
Turn it off like I do.
Exactly.
And then you say, "Can't."
Yeah. Well, I usually snap at him because I work for a big company. I'm like, "You're worried about thousands. My rounding is to 1 million, buddy. Just come on."
Fortune 500.
Yeah.
If I'm not on, they have to let 3,000 people go.
Yeah. Right.
Oh my God, that is so funny. Guys, I just so enjoyed this. Any final word at all that you'd love to talk about this whole spousal relationship thing?
I don't know, just that it's a lot of work. I mean, good work. Most of it's good work, and that it's always worth it, and that I'm really proud of how far he's come and the business that we've grown together, because I am 100% taking credit for, you know, everything that he's accomplished too. But again, really, really, really proud of him.
It's truly really, you're not in the business, but it's a partnership because the spirit, the drive, the confidence you give your spouse on either side allows them to perform at their best the next day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any final word, Joe?
Yeah, like we mentioned before, it's like any relationship. It's a lot of work, but it has so many beautiful things that come with it. And this just adds another layer on top of that relationship. And I think if you learn your roles in that relationship, you can be a great support to your spouse. And again, like Jennifer said, I mean, Nichole, she is a phenomenal woman, and there are very few women that are doing what she's doing in the auto repair industry.
Wow. My big takeaway, guys, is role. They both shook their head at me. And I think if you know your role and you play your role, and the marriage, the love, the support, the marriage bond is part of that, and you know your role, then you can help each other through anything.
Absolutely.
And
correct.
They're both shaking their heads. So thank you very much for good for me. Jennifer McHugh, husband is Patrick McHugh from Bimmer Rescue, Richmond, Virginia, and Joe Bennecoff, wife Nichole from Subie, guys. What's the city again?
Traverse City,
Michigan, right? Michigan. Thank you so much for kicking off this series that I want to do on spouses. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us, Karn.
Thanks for being on board to listen and learn from the premier automotive aftermarket podcast. Until next time,